a lot of people using ChatGPT for therapy, and I am going to have to tell you to stop. Okay? ChatGPT is a little enabler.
Welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. We're live in New York City.
Woo!
How fun is that?
That's really cool. This
I know.
doesn't happen ever.
Dude, no, we schlepped all the recording equipment from Seattle to New York.
Yes.
And we're here. It is my last full day in New York.
I know.
I've already been here for a week. Can we believe it?
I can believe it. It's nice. Ella came and stayed with me last weekend, and then she had a nice little hotel moment where I was like, wow, she really has like no kids, nothing to worry about. She must be having the time of her life.
It was really fun. I think I haven't stayed at a hotel by myself like that before, honestly. Because usually it's like a girl's trip, or a boyfriend trip, or a family trip. A whole hotel room?
Hello?
Wow. Dude, and like, that I was so funny because I've never stayed at a hotel. Like, I don't usually stay at hotels nice enough where you get your room serviced every day.
Oh.
So I was rushing out of the door trying to get to the office for the first day, and I come back and I was like,
who's been here?
No, I was like, oh my God, you know what? I'm really not that messy. And then I realized, oh no, someone's come and picked up after me today. And I was like, oh, I've never had this experience. They don't do this at the Holiday Inn.
No, they definitely don't.
No,
I've seen some things. No, there was one time we went to, I think it was for a show in Tacoma, and we got like a room at just like a random sort of motel situation. And they just had not serviced the room before they gave us the keys. And I walked in there, and I just had never seen it like that. Like obviously, like that things happen at like cheaper places.
Yeah.
But like there was underwear places and liquids places, and I was like, I can't sit here.
You're expecting like a new, fresh hotel room, and you come in and it's like, oh, this is used, and then you're like, oh my God, this has been used.
I like to just like, ignorance is bliss, right? So obviously, coming into places that places get used all sorts of ways. Like hotels just kind of give me the heebie-jeebies regardless. But yeah, this one was just like, the realness of it really struck me, and I was like, I don't know about this one.
I heard on TikTok that they don't wash comforters at hotels in between people. And I literally was like, oh, I wish I didn't know that.
I don't know, but ignorance is bliss again. I really like to, now when I travel, I'm more like an Airbnb.
The only reason I'm not an Airbnb person is because I hate the like chore list, the rules list. I'm like, dude, you're running a stricter operation than my mom, and my mom was a strict parent, so that's saying a lot.
My ship was real tight at home, so I have no problem. I'm like, great. I like having expectation standards, whatever, works both ways. It does. But you've been in New York. Do you like it here?
I love New York. This is my 4th time in New York, 3rd time with you. I feel like I actually like know where I'm at now. So like the kind of overwhelming scared of like, where am I has worn off.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know which train to take. I know how the subway feels. It's hot.
It is warm. But you've gotten good weather. It hasn't been humid this past couple of days, which has been...
No, it's been pretty good.
Real nice. Yeah. Yeah, I like living here for the most part. I think it gets to be a lot sometimes, and I'm like, I have to leave this city. But I like it.
You're in a good area, like in general, this side of the Hudson River. It's a good vibe. I literally walked all over Brooklyn, y'all. I'm talking miles and miles and miles, and it's really chill.
Lots of individuals. We've hit lots of vibes. We like went to the Puerto Rican Social Club yesterday, and that's like all immigrant vibes. And then I literally took them on like a little tour. We did like Williamsburg, Greenpoint. We're saying hi to a bunch of people.
Rooftop club, another club. But I will say that's like probably the one thing where, you guys know me, I don't go out in Seattle like that. Like I don't go to clubs, and so I'm like, dang, cover charge?
Why?
$20 for drinks?
Yeah, I know. And I'm on like, we got places to hit, mentality. And in Seattle, it's like the lifestyle is just like way more chill and like slower. And we get to one place and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we want to take photos, finish those drinks. Like we got places to go. And they're like, we just got here. We want to sit down. And I'm like, unheard of.
We literally went to 5 different establishments yesterday. And they
Oh,
weren't
look at
close
that
together
hot.
though. We were walking, dude.
Yeah.
My whole body is sore. Like I worked out. Like I did a heavy lift day yesterday. And it was just like 20,000 steps.
I still fit here. No car. No, no. This is my vehicle of choice.
Yeah, your Lexus.
Yeah.
Your Lexus is
I got
whatever.
some good cabs.
Yeah.
But we have a fun episode today.
I know, we had like a really cute business meeting this morning. We went to a little cafe, got lavender iced lattes. What a way to start the day. I'm in like a vibe. I'm feeling good because of the second hot coffee hit. So now I'm like,
ready to go.
We got this.
Yes. Today we're talking about some pop culture moments
of this year. This year's gone by really quickly. The year's not over, but we're doing so far 2025 top hits.
Yeah. So far. I mean, there's been some big hitters. I feel like this year, we were talking about some things and I was like, damn, that happened this year. Like the Super Bowl felt a million years ago.
I know, it felt a million years ago. That was in 2025. We had Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl. I love Kendrick Lamar. I saw him live at Bumper Shoot when Bumper Shoot was still like lit AF, which was inside the Key Arena, RIP.
Yeah.
And it was a festival, so we got to go like pretty close. And I love Kendrick Lamar, but like when I watched the Super Bowl and the whole thing was like, is he gonna sing Not Like Us? Is he gonna do it? And then he did it and everyone's screaming Not Like Us. And I was like, oof, bad day to be Drake.
I love a good diss track. I love a good message within a message within a message. So I was a fan of that performance. And I think like some people really missed the spot. Like I was sitting in a room full of people and I was like, there's a lot of symbolism in here, with this and that. Yeah. And they were like, what? And I'm like, we don't have critical thinkers in this room, but don't worry.
Break it down.
Yeah. And I think it kind of set the tone because I think I was going into 2025 like so uncertain what this year would bring. Obviously, we had like an administration changey, a big one.
Yeah.
And it's been definitely surprising. And there's just been a lot of like, I don't know. I feel like 2016, there were some predictable things and there was like a lot of bigotry, but like, I feel like this year had like thing after thing after thing. And I'm like, are we okay?
I know, and like we're like Up First People, which is the NPR show that does like the top 5 things that have happened today. I sometimes listen to that and I'm like, this is what happened yesterday.
Sometimes you hear them talk about things and like chuckle and be like, you are as surprised running those news as I am listening to them. Everybody's tired. They were like, they're cutting our funding.
I'm really sad about that. Like Sesame Street, like Donald Trump came after Sesame Street and he literally was like, they don't need Sesame Street. They have schools, but they also defunded those. What a crazy world we live in that like Sesame Street's coming to an end because of lack of funding.
Sesame Street's diss track coming up next.
Yeah, Elmo's about to get unhinged.
Anyways, I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of celebrity pop culture moments this year too. We have like
Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Honestly, Jeff Bezos' wedding kind of made me sad because it was like kind of a small wedding for how many million bajillion dollars it was. And I was like, are you guys that close to with Sydney Sweeney? Like, are you guys that close to the Kardashians?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't follow a lot of celebrity drama. This is just the things that pop up on TikTok because I get a lot like, they wore this to the wedding. And I try not to interact with it because like, for me, it's like my attention to that is basically like how people continue to make money. So it's like, if I'm not trying to put money in your bag, then I can't engage with that content. You know what I mean? But obviously it still comes up because it's like such a,
yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting dynamic of like all rich people. I guess I have that notion of all rich people hang out, but it's like, how close do you all hang out?
I think it's for clout. I don't think, and that was my thing is that like, I was like, how depressing is it you're inviting people for clout to this bajillion-dollar wedding, which is just a huge display of wealth.
Yeah, I think it's like they were trying to do like a royal wedding moment, but like America doesn't do that. So it was just giving a little off the mark. Because, you think about it and it's like, oh, the wealthiest people of America or whatever country are here. And there's like big signs of wealth and sort of like hierarchy in other countries. But like here, it's like you just invited celebrities and people from reality TV. You know, it's interesting.
Call me old fashioned, but I usually like to have like friends and families at weddings. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just really weird. And then I also thought the wedding was kind of tacky. Okay, I'll say that. Like I've seen TikTok brides put together a more classy event on about 120th of a budget. And I just thought it was kind of ironic because I was like, dang, some of this looks really cheap. And then did you see in the Vogue where they have like the staff off to the side in
Um,
some of those Vogue
I
photos?
didn't.
It's very dystopian, really, because it's like they're in like traditional like maid uniforms and they're like stuffed into the side of this Vogue photo, and then she has this like amazing couture dress and they're just sitting there like solemn as fuck. And I literally was like, that feels like it's just so dystopian in nature that we have such income inequality that's on display in this single photo in Vogue.
Yeah, I think that's like a really big representation of the time that we're living, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the reason I actually heard about their wedding was because Anna Winter stepped down from Vogue, and then like
Mm-hmm.
literally the next day, Jeff Bezos' wife, sorry, I don't know her name, she was on the cover. She was like posted about it on the Vogue Instagram, and I was like, oh, there's the girls are fighting. So there's some things trickling down, which is really interesting. I guess like in the fashion world, money tries to buy everything, obviously, but like I guess trying to like buy your way into the fashion world is really almost different because I feel like fashion has so much to do with like art and culture that like I don't think the dress was cute in its own my own, sort of opinion. So I was like, this is a very interesting cultural shift within everything.
Do you feel that this was Anna's time or is it like long overdue?
I don't love her vibe. I think she's done some really cool things. I think like I was watching kind of like documentaries about like how Vogue has changed through the years and different people, and I think she's like obviously a very like talented, ambitious lady, and truly like I this was my corporate answer for a lot of things, but I was like I truly get inspired by women in leadership roles, and I do because
Yeah.
there's always something to learn from them. But I do believe that like with the Met Gala and things like that, I was like I feel like there's a bigger maybe just like a different. We could use a different vibe. We can spruce it up. We can make more statements with fashion, and I just feel like Vogue wasn't really hitting that. So am I glad she stepped away? Yes, but do I feel like there's good things coming? Not really.
That's a good point.
And
I actually had to look this up because like I grew up on magazines, like I loved flipping through
yeah,
magazines. I recently like was flipping through a Vogue and I was like, this is all advertisements. Like literally it's just all advertisements. And I had to look it up and it has increased in advertisements because print media is kind of on its way out per se. Like not a lot of people are engaging with magazines in the way that they did in the 90s and the early 2000s. So in order to still be profitable, they have to sell more and more of the magazine to ad space. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's what feel I just felt in my heart. Have you seen that there's like the first
yeah,
AI mock
yeah,
ad?
yeah.
And it's like, ugh, like what's the point? Like this used to be about something, about telling a story about fashion, about culture, and now we have AI models.
Companies sink or swim when like technology really booms. I
Hmm.
think we've seen that a lot, even like with Macy's versus Nordstrom, and every company is like, what do we do with like this rise of technology and e-commerce? But I feel like there's such potential for like Vogue to do so many like awesome things for fashion with like documentaries. Like they just really have to switch their focus to like like TV and video
Hmm.
over print, which is like what most people are doing. That it's like, how do we tell a story differently?
And I think that's where I think some of Anna's criticism like came in is that like of course she was doing something revolutionary in print, but is she the foremost expert on digital media? Probably not.
Mhm.
So how has that affected Vogue's growth? Is that they didn't make a big shift off of print.
We'll see what happens.
Who do you think's next? They haven't announced it, right?
I don't think so.
There's some contenders, but we'll see. It's got to be like a young, hip person, right? Or maybe not young
I
in the
don't
way, but
know.
she's like old. No offense.
I mean, I think she's fabulous
Me too, but
in
I
her
just
right.
mean
I think I've heard some stories about her, but who knows? I don't know her personally, but I just don't know because of the whole like AI thing in Vogue, and then the Jesus's weddings and all of that is like not giving me hope that there's gonna be something super awesome and like fashion forward and like cultural in there because there's like so many people with money involved in the background of what's happening right now.
mm.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know enough about Vogue's like infrastructure to know. Hopefully something hopefully something good or something new will come. Who's the new Vogue?
Mm.
Fun.
Speaking about like AI, I know that there's been like so much AI talk in five.
Everything. I mean, AI, ChatGPT, all of that. I have a friend who's in college and, they tell me like, yeah, I just use ChatGPT to do this. And I'm like, I can't imagine. Like, honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't have
I said
that.
that, so I
Yeah.
said that like months ago because I was thinking like, especially us, like I think we're the use case of we really were limited on time and some of the assignments are not, I would say some of our assignments weren't relevant. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like there's some stuff where I really like, they kind of call them like easy A classes. It's just those general requirements that you're like, I don't actually need to know about this, but I have to take this class. I feel like I would have had more propensity to misuse ChatGPT. And I also think it would have been useful in other ways.
Yeah. They have to crack the system.
Yeah,
But I feel like it would have been too easy and then I would have
me
been
too.
stressed. I was
Mm.
never a copy and paste from Spark Notes girly.
Mm-mm, out me either.
I will summarize it. I've been a good bullshitter through my life. All right. I can like read a paragraph and be like, sure, let me reword this real
It takes just as long to cheat well as it is to do it yourself. So I
quick.
usually just,
Honestly.
no, I just mean like for real. Like if I'm not gonna just straight plagiarize this and I'm gonna put it in my own words, like that's the whole point, anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to avoid plagiarizing, you might as well just like do it the whole thing and actually not plagiarize. That's at least in my experience. Obviously, I'm not gonna say universally true for everyone. Maybe other people might struggle, but I don't. But also, what's the fun in cheating like that? Like write me a paper about this. And I don't know. I just don't think I would feel good about turning in an English paper specifically where you're trying to like have critical thought about a piece of media that you consumed and then I just like let ChatGPT do it for me. I feel like what's the fun in that?
I don't
Like
know.
what's the point? Like what the fuck am I paying this $20,000 a year to come here and learn if I'm just gonna let a robot do the learning for me?
That's true. And I think when we previously talked about this, I was like, this is like an opportunity for education to get better, which I do believe it is if
Yeah.
it wants to meet it that way. But usually it's like met with like, are we moving forward or are we just trying to stop something that everybody is already utilizing?
The one class that I think about a lot, I don't know if I've told this story, but I was in a class and it was about indigenous sovereignty and federal law within the Americas. And my professor was talking about like native people finally winning a case in the Supreme Court and how great it felt for their community. And he stared at me and he goes, "You know, Ella, how did your family feel when OJ got off?" And I literally remember being like, well, I don't even think I was fucking born then, but I don't think they really were excited that OJ got off on murdering two people. But thank you very much. I digress. The only reason I brought that up is that class you had to do blue books, and it was not a very common thing. Did you ever? I'm sure. Did you ever have to do blue books?
No.
Okay, so a blue book is just where you like purchase the blue book for like 85 cents at the store,
Oh
and then you
yeah.
had to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
write your
yeah.
essay out.
Right.
And so it's like if you're writing an essay in a class, like you can't really cheat when he's looking at you. And so I feel like that's what's going to be shifted is that teachers are going to get off of these like online platforms and have to do like blue books in class.
Back to the good old.
Things all circle back,
They
babes.
do. Like Netflix and every single streaming thing having commercials. I'm like, I remember when we had like beat this. Like when Netflix first came
Yeah.
out and there were no commercials and every streaming platform was like, put things online, no commercials. People will never know what that was like. Now everything's like cable pretty much, unless you're like paying more.
I know we really got with that because it's like it was an alternative for people who couldn't afford cable, but now there's so many services and so
Yeah,
many upgrades to not get ads. We're like back at over what cable cost.
literally. It's like Disney Plus plus ESPN plus Hulu. You can get a
Plus,
bundle. That's like that is cable.
yeah.
We're back.
Should I bring back
We're
cable?
back. Maybe we should bring
Yeah,
back.
we'll be the
DirecTV's
first.
gonna have
Yeah,
a good year.
literally, we'll be the first influencers on DirecTV.
So, I get it. I get why people cheat. We're pro cheating, maybe. In certain circumstances. I've never been good at cheating. I have too much anxiety for that. I'd rather just like
Yeah.
guess.
Every time people cheat, I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, what is the cost, like the risk analysis here of like getting caught cheating versus just guessing? Like, is 1 in 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And I like to listen. Honestly, in class, if you like to listen, you will retain some of the information. I would sit there and honestly do like a doodle, or I'd be like snowing for a different class and I'd just be listening to the lecture and I'd be like laughing with the professor. Would not do a lot of the other work involved and or the studying, but I would show up on test day. And this is like if anybody has like test anxiety or whatever, listen to like a pump up song right before you do something, and like the second they'd be like, go, I like go as fast as I could. And if I really didn't know a question, I'd be like, I have no idea. I just circled it and like keep going. Cause usually your first guess is the right. If you
Mm-hmm.
double guess it, you might choose the wrong. So I would get like through the test and then I would go back to the questions that like I circled, which would only be like one or two.
Yeah.
And then be like, well, I really don't know the answer. And the probability here is 1 of 4. So it is what it is. Don't second guess that either. And I'd be like one or the first or second person out of there. And I'd always get like B's or A's.
Hell yeah, baby.
Listen to lecture. Don't second guess yourself.
On the topic, honestly, I feel like it's just another resource, and you just have to get good at your resources and maybe not use ChatGPT first. Like, dude, like use Google first.
A lot of people using ChatGPT for therapy, and I am gonna have to tell you to stop. Okay? ChatGPT is a little enabler. Like it's meant to kind of like low key like agree with you and it's like kind to you. All of those things are good, but you should get like the initial maybe why, and then that's a great thing to talk about in therapy.
I challenge people to journal and to think about it for themselves, because I think that ChatGPT is not going to give you any answers that if you didn't sit down with a journal and did the exact same thing and just kind of thought about it, you would get a wildly different answer. For instance, for me, like I sometimes have these like anxiety freakouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's a freak out, but yeah, it's anxiety freakouts. Like I'll just give an example. So this past week I've been on like a work trip and it's a lot of new people, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, that one moment I didn't like myself. Like what should I do?" It's like, "Okay, well, if I just like sat down, decompressed, deep breathe, I know that most of the time people aren't paying as much attention to you as you're paying attention to yourself." And I'm sure if I put into ChatGPT like, "Oh my god, I freaked out about this situation. What do you think I should do?" They'd probably tell me the exact same thing that I would tell myself if I slowed down and critically think about it. And if you don't
Yeah.
have those skills, you're better off going to a therapist than to rely on ChatGPT.
Yeah. And maybe that's just from going to therapy from a young age because my anxiety disorder developed really young. That can happen to you at any point in your life.
I mean, yeah, I got diagnosed with anxiety at like 12 or something. Is that insane?
I think I've had it for a while, but it didn't get like anxiety attack level until college. And then I was like, oh. And now I see a lot of people experience it in different ways. And I'm like, I know exactly what's going on with you. Anxiety is so interesting, mostly when you haven't manifested it into like physical symptoms because people like think there's something like physically wrong with them when it's like really mental. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't tell you that all of this is in your head. You kind of have to like figure it out yourself. It's like hard to grasp with such like a physical body response sometimes.
Well, it's not in your head in the way of like you're imagining it. It's
No.
really happening to you, but it's that your brain is negatively affecting your body.
Yeah.
So it's in your head in that way.
That's why I don't necessarily believe like there's a lot of like words around like crazy. And I'm like, is it really crazy if it's like really real to you? Because it's like actually like it's like it's happening to you, you
I
know?
mean, I don't like the term crazy. I sometimes call myself crazy just because it's like I like the word crazy for just like, a little fucking funky, a little cuckoo
Yeah.
bananas. Like I know this is a little out there.
But we're a little out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. People, I think this year have really taken it on themselves to plot their own revenges. I don't know if it has just never been in the media before, but people like taking it to themselves to like try to do hits on CEOs is probably the most bizarre news of information that I've heard this year.
Kind of a weird situation because I don't believe like an eye for an eye will make the world blind. I'm a Marie Antoinette fan, like I'm a super big into Marie Antoinette, and the economic disparity between the rich and the poor were is more now than it was during the French Revolution, which is really interesting to think about. Because we know what happened to Marie Antoinette, off with her head. And so I don't condone violence, but I'm not surprised by it based on what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I do see where people are coming from with a lot of the things that are not news. You know what I mean? They've been around for so long, and I feel people have been so angry for such a long time. And again, the wealth disparity is just very, very, very apparent and noticeable in any situation when someone's being not heard and feels misunderstood, and really drastic things start to happen.
And I'm still against gun violence I don't care who's getting killed by a gun. I still don't support it.
Mhm.
But I am curious on how the midterm elections are going to pan out and how some of this is going to connect because people are screaming for change.
Yeah. I think half of that was the House or the Congress in Texas that they were
Hmm.
like, we're not down to like get this passed, so we're all dipping out. That's crazy.
Which is their legal right.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, it's not like it's really interesting that Republicans are like, they're
Come
trying
back.
to get
Yeah.
them out and revote new people
Yeah.
in, even though they are legally allowed to do that. They're legally allowed to do it to represent for their constituents. What they're doing is like within the framework of Texas's constitution. And also Republicans do shit like this all the time. Mind you, why was Obama not allowed to put in a new Supreme Court justice during his term? Because Republicans essentially did the exact same thing. And now Republicans are like, you can't do this. It's like, you guys do this all the time. Anyways, but what's happening is like the reason that Texas's representatives are basically saying like, no, 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 you cannot do this is because they're trying to gerrymander districts on race. Which has been happening, and people are like, Democrats do it too, and I'm like, that's actually like not true. Like, it's not true that Democrats gerrymander in the way that Republicans do. Usually what happens is Republicans gerrymander, Democrats undo it. And anyway, so yeah, it's a crazy thing that we're even allowed to do that in this country, where it's like, let's just circle people who vote together in order for Texas to remain Republican. And I actually, when I say like, oh, I'm moving to Austin, people are like, oh my God, it's so Republican, so Republican. It's actually not as Republican as you think, but there is just such gerrymandering because of corrupt politics that it looks way more red than it is.
Yeah. And then California kind of said the same thing as like, if Texas is going to do it, we'll do it the other way. And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Along with tariffs and everything else. I mean, we'll see what happens by the end of the year. I'm still trying to figure out what like Christmas holiday season is gonna start looking like, because obviously I worked in retail and I know that like there was a hold on goods, and now the tariffs are kind of like they had a 90-day hold, and but now they're like kind of back to some places. I don't know. Things are getting more expensive now.
What happened with tariffs was usually with tariffs, people stock as much as they possibly can before tariffs happen. And now that stock on goods is running low or about to run out. So this new batch of goods is going to have tariffs depending on where it comes from. Well, it's not hilarious, but it's like comically ironic that people were like, grocery prices are out of control. So, like, we need Trump to bring down grocery prices. And he's done literally the opposite in the biggest way possible. I'm just saying, like, tariffs drive up the cost of goods. Like, what are we talking about? And also, I'm sorry, but like as an econ major, it just drives me up a wall because here's the thing: a company is never going to decrease the price of goods once
Yeah.
they've increased it. Why? Because they realize that you will pay
More.
more for the same thing. So he is affecting tariffs. Even if we take tariffs away, I would really doubt that we're going to lower prices because corporations are greedy and they know, like, okay, well, they'll pay that much.
Yeah, I know. I think that's been the argument that I have with some people that they're like, well, these corporations are greedy. Like, they're not gonna like. I think people are kind of like thinking that corporations are gonna take the hit on things, and they're really not. You
Oh, they
know?
never do. Okay, let me tell you, they
Yeah.
never do. And I actually had a specialization in environmental economics because I wanted to be as far away from the finance pros as possible. Didn't work out. I'm as close to the finance pros as ever. But
Whoops.
whoops. But the whole like part of that was you basically figure out how much you need to charge corporations for them to actually not violate environmental policy. Because guess what? Corporations, like if you are saying, hey, it costs $1 million to dump in the ocean, but it saves them $4 million to dump in the ocean, they'll literally dump in the ocean. So you have to fine them $6 million. So it behooves them to actually not dump in the ocean.
Yeah, it is based on
It's all money.
yeah.
So they will never stop losing profit. Shout out to the people who've been laid off this year. There have been so
So
many
many.
layoffs, and and honestly, it's happening at companies that have had record breaking profits. But why do they lay people off? So they can have more profits. Okay. Like it's directly tied to that.
Yeah. It's no news to find your friends unemployed. Like I will tell you, probably like a friend each week in the summer has told me like, "Oh, I got laid off. I got let go." Like,
They laid off my whole team but me. And then, like, they were like, I was like, hey, what's the plan?
who's gonna do that job?
And they were like, you're so efficient. And I'm like, I am going to efficiently get my ass out of here.
Yeah. Thanks for this.
I found a new job 2 months later. And they're like, did layoffs, was that a part of the reason you're leaving? I'm like, oh no, you laying off 6 people and giving all their work to me had nothing to do with me leaving.
Yeah. I know. We've made it through some things together. We really have. We were just talking about this how the first company was doing layoffs, and I was like, I don't think we have anything to worry about. I have no idea who else would do this job.
And they literally couldn't.
They couldn't. They couldn't let us go. They just gave us more positions and they gave us more work, but they knew like they hadn't automized that process. So I was like, I think we're chilling for at least the next couple of years.
I know, definitely for East Coast. I mean, they're still doing it.
Yeah.
There's still people doing that job. But yeah, I mean, layoffs have affected me once, twice, kind of, but they're no fun. So
Yeah.
and the job market's so hard. I pray for new graduates, y'all. If this is the summer after college,
Start your own business.
start your own business.
Yeah.
Start making minimum wage at a Fortune 500 company and hope that they like you. That's what I did. Then you can move up and up and up. But I had to swallow my pride when I graduated because I thought I was going to be making. I'm an above average student. I shouldn't be making the average of an econ grad.
New York was what really humbled me. Just some of like the fashion and design jobs. It's like everybody acts like they're doing you a favor, and I'm like, I'm about to work 10 hours a day for $50,000 a year. Be for real with me.
Be for real. They were like, no, like you should come to college because you're gonna make $75K with this degree right out of college. Hello, $15 an hour.
There's some other things that TikTok was supposed to be banned. It was still with us, like
Oh my god.
everyone always asks me like, you've been posting a lot. Yeah, maybe 1 to 7 times a day if I am feeling up for it. But they're like, what's your plan? And I'm like, I don't know, any other streaming thing. I'm already putting the same content in like 10 different things and seeing what hits.
Bro, you're posting so much, but when that whole TikTok ban happened, and you said you didn't hear about this, but when people were like, oh, like now that TikTok's going away, I can admit, and they were like admitting that their whole brand was like high key fake. They were like, I actually didn't do those workouts. I didn't eat that food. I didn't use those ice balls.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's some things I can put my money on, like, yeah, that's ending. But there's some things that I'm like, how is that ending? It like it creates profit for a lot of like American things and American goods.
Yeah.
So it's like really hard to get some things to shut down when there is money coming in to a lot of people already with money. Like there's people that are gonna want to keep that. So I don't know. And also like TikTok itself is making a lot of money. They have a lot of capital in wanting to sell certain things or where they keep your data and stuff like that. There's some things that are hard for me to buy into. Like I'm like, I just don't know if that's ending. And if it's ending, then maybe that's okay. So
We'll keep going till we
we'll
know
keep going till it goes. This is why you gotta live authentically. I swear to God, like the people that like are most themselves on things, even if it's quirky or awkward, like you have you will probably have an audience. There's an audience for everything. Sometimes I make content that I don't even like. We were talking to somebody yesterday. We were working with this dancer, and I was like, I hate doing this. And I was like, I just feel like it's cringy. And she's like, I love those. And I was like, oh God, like I guess like maybe I don't consume my own content, but if I'm just posting what like the life is, some people like it.
There's something for everybody. And honestly, we have such good taste. No, I'm just joking. But like it's sometimes hard to like see yourself doing something and you're just more critical because it's like you and your information.
Mm-hmm.
But like I see other people doing it and I don't think the same thing. Like you are your own harshest critic. I feel like that's what kind of the symptom of trying to make content is.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just am like, oh God, is this interesting enough? Like, do people care? Because sometimes I'm like, I don't really. The stuff I love the most, I can't recreate. Like, I cannot recreate funny cat videos. I don't have a cat.
I have a cat.
I know, maybe you should do that. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I will tell you, if you post 20 times a day, you don't even remember you're posting.
You like desensitize yourself.
100%. Some people, I think, have come up to me and be like, you said this on the podcast. And I was like, I did? When?
I actually was thinking about that. Like, we're getting to the point where our digital footprint is kind of terrifying. Not because we've said bad things, but just because we have so much long form content. We have 255 episodes of about 40 minutes each of us talking. And thank goodness, I really praise us that like we don't have any like N-word clips out in the ether. Hello, Love Island. Like we don't have any of those. So it's like that's very good. But I'm like, I can't even imagine some of like we're just such different people from when we started, I feel like.
The fandom around that is like so crazy to me that there's people that will go through like hours and hours of content of people that like are influencers and stuff to like try to get a moment where they're like, this is that. And then I don't know. I'm sure we've said problematic stuff. Like I think about that all the time. I was like, I don't know, we started this podcast when I was like literally like what, 22? Like I literally at 22, I'm like, I was a dumbass. Like I was a little asshole. Like 100%.
I think we were mean to men, but I don't think we were problematic per se.
I don't know. I thought about that a lot. I'm like, will it bother me if at some point something comes out? And I truly believe like I'm trying to live like the most authentically kind version of myself. Am I that all the time? No. But yeah, I think if I truly believe like everybody's moment comes at some point. At some point. In different ways. You know what I mean? Like you see people going through really rough times and then really great times and then really rough times.
Yeah. I always feel, I mean, this is just me personally. I feel like I wasn't living as authentically. Like, I feel like right now, like, I don't know, you don't have to, like, when you're living very close to your values, you're like, I'm not doing anything wrong, you know? Like, maybe people will disagree with me, but there's nothing wrong. But then it's like, yeah, I don't know when I was 21 if I was the best version of myself. So I feel like if it was anything, it would be pre-podcast, but
there's not that much footage of that time.
That's what I mean.
But I will say, I got girlies on Snapchat that reach out to me that it's like, we met at the frat bathroom and I've just seen your growth on this app and I just want to say like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
on Snapchat?
Is that I was like notorious for like being drunk at frats and just like befriending girls like on the bathroom or in the hallway and being like, what's your Snapchat? And then we've never spoke again. I could not tell you what any of these women look like, but I just know we were always Snapchat friends.
Yeah.
And then yeah, to this day, like sometimes I don't post on Snapchat that much anymore, but I used to.
Okay.
And that's my long form. That's like if I have like a dark thought, I would post that on Snapchat. And yeah, I had some people reach out recently and they're like, your like growth like we've watched through the years has been really cool to see. And I'm like, thank God, thank goodness there's been growth.
If there's been anything, there's been growth, baby.
But it's always fun getting to do this with you in person.
Live.
No.
We have like literally, it kind of looks a little spooky in here. Like with the setup, we just have cords and like trying to figure this out. We're using like my brand new camera that got replaced after a major L about 7 years ago. So we love it. Like we're so back, baby. Woo!
I know. I like came in here saying like, I'm gonna do so much content. I have this camera, and I was like, what have you shot? Like nothing.
Girl, sometimes the city gets to you and you just can't shoot content.
Well, anyways, thank you so much for listening this today. As always, please subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Thanks number 4 your concern.
I'm at Ella L Tutor.
I'm at Bernie City SM.
Bye.
Bye.